Alright, today I want to talk about a whole lot of citizens. This is a collection of citizen watches that I've been accumulating for quite some time. Got a lot of different models and styles in here. Here's a few more right here. I'm going to go over each one. I don't want to go over the model numbers per se because I don't really know what the model numbers of these are. I do, however, know what the module numbers are, so we will talk about that instead. And then if you want to look up that style watch, it should be pretty easy for you once you have that module number. So this is a collection of citizens. I got quite a few to go through. So the first one I want to talk about is this. This is Aqualand. This is a pretty sought after piece. I think the retail on this one was around 800 MSRP. I think used these go for somewhere between 400 to 600. This is a very cool watch. It has some very unique characteristics. So if you go into water, sometimes you can press this and it'll actually register. But this is a water sensor, and this is a depth gauge. This is a legitimate dive watch. It's got really good lume. It's got a battery indicator or a capacitor indicator, and these watches are extremely popular in the diving community because of how robust and expensive and easy to maintain they are. This watch actually won some awards in Japan for its design. This is the case back, if you want to look into that. The module number for this one is J250. This is a very cool watch. I've actually got, so somebody's ferret or something bit into the man, so I'm getting some replacement lugs. Anyways, that's the first one. I gotta go a bit quicker, don't I? Second one is another aqualung. This is a very rare aqualung. I think this came out in the 2000s. MSRP on this one I think was about 600. Similar deal. This is a legitimate dive computer. It's extremely cool. It's got the same depth gauge and pressure sensor there. I think I could probably get used around what MSRP was, probably around 600. I've got the box and papers for this one too, which is pretty crazy. And the case back on this one looks like this. And the module for this one is U107. Very cool watch. Very unique. You don't see a lot of watches like this. Next one is more of a dressy watch. This is a radio controlled watch. I believe it also has a chronograph function. This keeps perfect time. It's synced up to, I believe there's an atomic radio in Boulder, Colorado. Maybe Fort Collins, I can't remember. Maybe it's Colorado Springs. But this is a true set and forget. I think this one has sapphire crystal, and it's a I forget what they call it, but a world time. There you go. This is a pretty cool watch. The case back looks like so, and then the module number is H20. What is that? H820. For those interested. I think this watch, I mean, usually when you see sapphire on a Citizen, it's around 500 plus MSRP. This watch on the used market may be worth 200 to 350 perhaps. This next watch is more of a vintage one. This is a Citizen, I think it's called a Navi Time. The cool thing about this watch is it's got an anchor here as a selector, which is pretty neat. The bezel does rotate. It's got some windward leg indice there, and a bunch of like a port track angle and all kinds of really interesting stuff. This is a nautical themed watch. The case back on this one still has the plastic on it. It's going to be really hard to pick up on my camera, but the module on this one is C660. Pretty cool watch. I think this one probably came out in the late 90s or 2000s. Okay, this next watch is one of Citizen's best watches that they make. This is a Citizen Signature Series watch. The MSRP on these, I want to say, are like $1,500. This has the really cool moon phase at the 12 o'clock. I believe this one does a chronograph. It has a tachymeter bezel. It also has some hints of dive watch with these huge indices. I think these are called baton indices. This is a very cool watch. It's very well made. I think on the used market these go for 500 to 600, 700-ish. Look at the case back on that. Beautiful. Sapphire crystal. The module on this is E270. Beautiful watch. Kind of expensive, but it really is. I mean, the way that it's made is just, you get this in your hands and it's just an amazing watch. Okay, next is this here. This is a Blue Angels world chronograph. It's radio controlled, set and forget. It's got a chronograph function. The bezel actually rotates. It's very stiff. Some of the watches I've seen with this kind of internal bezel are very loose. Like there's some Seikos out there that are pretty loose. Very cool watch, nice theme. The yellow and the blue is pretty nice actually. Case back on this one is very nice. I really like the insignia for the Blue Angels Aerial Acrobatics team. The module on this one, and this has sapphire crystal, the module is H800. Very cool watch. I've got two of these. So I got both of these from the same person, and one of them, the battery in one of these is better than the other, but anyways, we'll talk about one of them. So this is another kind of Citizen aqualung. It's got the depth gauge, and then the depth meter is actually right behind this bar. You can see it there. As soon as this enters water, it goes into dive mode. All of these watches like this do that. I failed to mention that. It's got a nice rotating bezel. This one probably has a chronograph function as well. And yeah, I think retail on these guys are probably... Oh, the Blue Angels watch on the used market sell for around $300. I think the MSRP on those was $500. These are similar deal. This one, the module number on this one, this is the case back, is B740. It's a pretty cool watch. Seriously cool depth gauge guard there. I kind of like it. Okay, the next watch is pretty cool. So this watch has a bidirectional rotating friction bezel. It's not ratcheting. This watch is an altitude measuring watch. So if you're hiking up in the mountains, that's where this one would come in. That's what all these indices are for. It's fairly accurate too. The city I live in is about a mile high, and it does show that when I put it into these modes. Yeah, I haven't really messed around with this watch too much, but this is actually I forget what they call this, but it basically is there to measure the pressure and tell you what altitude you're at. Again, this watch, somebody's ferret or animal chewed through the band. Somebody's animal really liked rubber. And the case back on this one looks like so. And the module on this is J290, and you should be able to find each of these watches on the internet, just looking for the module numbers. And you might find multiple models that have the same functions, because a module is the watch movement. This watch, I think MSRP is around 500 to 600 used market. I think you can get probably 250 to 350 for it. Okay, next is the Ecozilla. This is a seriously massive watch. Very cool. Citizen also put out a watch called the Orca that's similar. This watch is a seriously cool dive watch. 300 meters water resistant. This is a mineral crystal, but you're never going to scratch it with a bezel this aggressive. This ring does come off, although I can't get it off this one. I haven't tried hard enough. This is technically a left-handed watch. The crown is on the left side instead of the right, so you could wear this left-handed, and it's quite handsome. MSRP on these, I think, were 400 to 500, and I think on the used market, these are getting kind of collectible because I think they're discontinued. I think you could get 300 to 400 for this one in really good condition, like this one is. The case back is amazing. It's got this old school vintage dive helmet on it. So cool. And then the module for this one is, I believe it's B873 on that one. Yeah, very cool. The community calls this the Ecozilla. If you just search Ecozilla, you'll find that. Okay, next one. I think this one's called a Bryson. Can't remember. It is a perpetual calendar, which is pretty nice. It's got 100 meters water resistance, and it actually has a carbon fiber chapter ring insert. This is a pretty cool watch. It's quite dressy. I believe this is sapphire on this one. It's not... It's kind of an old school design. It's not super desirable. These watches, MSRP was pretty high. I think it was over 500, but on the used market, this might be a $200 watch, maybe. Here's the case back on this. And the module number on this one is E870. Probably see that better right there. E870. This is an okay watch. Pretty inexpensive. Does this one have sapphire? I'm pretty sure it does. You know what? This is actually mineral crystal. I made a mistake. Sorry about that. Anyways. Next watch is a similar watch. This one has sapphire. This is a sportier looking watch, although it's pretty similar. But this one's radio controlled. The last one wasn't. Perpetual calendar, sapphire. Yep, it says it's got sapphire crystal right here. And again, this watch isn't worth a whole lot. I think MSRP on this is probably 600-ish, and on the used market, it's probably worth 250 to 350 maybe. The back of this watch looks like so. Perpetual Chrono, AT. AT stands for Atomic Timekeeping. And the module for this one is, I believe that's E850. 200 meters water resistance. Very cool. It's actually quite a handsome watch when you look at it, with the light browns and the dark browns. It's really cool. Kind of a dressy / sporty watch. Okay, so this next watch is vintage. I don't think I did replace the crystal in this watch, but this is Citizen Moon Phase Eco Drive. This is kind of a rare watch. It does have a mineral crystal. I have not seen another one like this anywhere, really. I'm sure there's some on eBay. I haven't really looked, but it's a rare watch. This one, so the chapter ring on the outside is your what is this? Your date, and this crescent. The inside of the crescent tells you what the date is, and then I thought there was another one on here somewhere. Yeah, here. So, and then this one says 11 on it. That's the month. So you got the month and the day. This is a perpetual calendar, if I recall. And then you have your moon phase, and then you even have, day, date, month. There you go. I messed that up. But 100 meters water resistance. This is kind of a dressier looking watch. Very cool. I like the goulash kind of features on it. It's pretty neat. And then the case back on this looks like so. It is older, so it's scraped up a bit, but So the module on this one is A8651, I believe. So if you Google that, you'll find this watch. Very cool watch, very rare, very interesting to have in a collection. The next watch is actually, I consider this a men's watch. It has this kind of, it's a mother of pearl dial, but it's etched with the, it's kind of semi-transparent with the solar cells right under it. It's a really, really cool watch, actually. It does have a sapphire crystal, and it is radio controlled. It's quite fancy. It's a very fancy watch. It's a bit thick, though, a bit thick for a dress watch. But I do quite like this watch a lot. I think it does world time, and I don't think this one has a chronograph feature on it, but this is a lot of watch for the money. I think these ones you can get on the used market for like really cheap, actually 100 to maybe 250. Here's the case back on this one. Oh, and that last watch, the moon phase, I think you could get it on the used market for like 150 to 300 depending on the conditions. So this one does have sapphire, and the module on this one, we've already seen one of these. It's an H820. So and it is a world time atomic timekeeping eco drive. Very cool watch, very pretty, plays with the light really nicely, and it's quite elegant. A lot of watch for the money. Okay, next watch. These are some older Aqualands. So we looked at some of the newer ones. These are some of the older ones. These are really cool. They're pretty collectible. I sell these. I've sold probably 3 or 4 of these, and they usually go for around 250 to 300 is what I usually get for them. I do have to replace the capacitor in some of these. But it has a chronograph feature, it has a date indicator, it's got, so this one's actually missing the protective cage. I would probably want to get significantly less for this one, maybe 200-ish. It's missing the guard, but it still has, so this one, check this out. See, so you could actually press down on the water pressure gauge, and you can manipulate it into going into dive mode, which is pretty cool. Yeah, 200 meters water resistant, legit dive watch, probably ISO rated. Screw down crown. This is the case back. It's a bit beat up. These are older. And then the module on this one is a B741. Very cool watch. Okay, and then we have this. I think I've talked about this in my previous watch collection video. A collection of watches video. This is just a nice Citizen perpetual calendar, radio controlled, 200 meter water resistant watch. This is an older version. I think I have to replace the capacitor on this. It's nothing special. It's a set and forget. It's very busy. This has the same kind of bezel as the Blue Angels. This is what you call a slide rule bezel. I forgot to talk about that. It's for pilots who are piloting aircrafts. It's not really used. It could be used in a pinch, but most pilots don't use anything like this anymore. But they still learn how to, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And the case back for this one looks like so. It is a chrono time automatic timekeeping, and the module on this one should say sapphire on here somewhere. You know what? This one's not sapphire. This one's a mineral as well. But anyways, the module is H610. And then so we have this really cool. Oh, and this one I think I could get like 250 for, maybe. Maybe 200 to 250. And then we have this really cool looking Citizen, very, very deep dial with this very deep chapter ring, these really cool features to it. It's got all these sub dials that are in kind of like a 4-leaf clover. This is a very handsome watch. I think these are MSRP on these are like 350 to 4. On the used market, I want to say I could get like 200 for this. It's got a moon phase. It does the calendar, the day, date, and month, which is pretty cool. So I actually quite like this watch. It's simple but very, very cool. Case back on this one looks like so. Oop. Most Citizens are gonna look like this. So this one probably has mineral glass, mineral crystal. The module on this is 8730. Very cool watch. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I might be able to get like 250 for this, maybe. Okay, so we have the second Aqualung, kind of like the other one that I showed, except this one is two-tone. This one's actually gold and silver, which is pretty cool. You could do the same thing with this one. You can manipulate the water pressure sensor. This one actually has the guard. This is the old school guard for these, for the depth gauge. But yeah, these are really cool watches. Again, this one's worth about 300. This one I could actually probably get closer to 300 for, although it is two-tone, which isn't as desirable, I don't think. But are these both Ecodrive? Yeah, they're both Ecodrive. So some of these are quartz. You have to pay attention that if you're really looking for Ecodrive, get Ecodrive. But if it's, I think like right here, if it says exit, it's the quartz version. But otherwise, yeah, they should use the same module as last one. The case back looks very similar too. And the module on this 200 meter water resistant module is B741. Yep, it's the exact same. So pretty cool. Okay, and here's another watch that's similar to the blue one we looked at, but it is a little different. This one actually has a kind of second time zone bezel to it. I'm not going to call it a GMT because I don't think it's technically a GMT. It just has a bezel. So that's pretty cool, and it's quite stiff and nice. This one will do the day and the date and the month as well, which is pretty neat. It also has all these cities on it, so that's what this bezel is for. And there's a way to calculate this. You have to look it up on the internet or watch a YouTube video, but there is a way to calculate two different time zones using the bezel and lining it up with one of these cities. I think MSRP on this one is probably around 400-ish, and I think I could get probably 2 to 250 for it on the used market. This is what the back of it looks like. And the module on this one is 8729. Pretty cool watch. Okay, alright. This is another Citizen signature watch. MSRP. Looks like the video cut off at this watch. Yeah, these Sony cameras. This is a Sony A6000. It only records up to 2 hours or 20 minutes. Yeah, that's right, 20 minutes. Anyways, so this is a Citizen signature watch. These watches are very expensive. This one MSRP was probably around 1,500. On the used market, you could get 500 to 700 for this. It's very sporty. It's got a lot of black and red features with a splash of this lume white. Tachymeter bezel. It does have a flyback chronograph in it, which is very nice. 100 meters water resistance. It does have an alarm in it. The other signature version does not. And then this one at the 12 o'clock, this is actually a 24-hour indicator instead of a moon phase. So it's still a very nice watch. These are really well made. There's a lot of heft to them. As far as like Ecodrive goes, I mean, this is like the pinnacle of Ecodrive. There are some other watches called the Campanolas, if I recall, that are even more expensive than this. They're like $3,000. They're really cool, but yeah. So this is what the caseback looks like. This is probably one of the coolest casebacks out of all the Citizen watches I own. And then the it's got sapphire crystal, and the module in this is a E260. Beautiful watch, top of the line Citizen, amazing. Okay, so the next watch. This watch is so there's a character on Parks and Recreation, Ron Swanson. He wears the Gen 1 of this watch, Generation 1, and it's a panda version, I believe. His is black and white, whereas this one is titanium and silver. I really like the way that this dial looks. It kind of reminds me of Victorinox Air Boss, except that's a mechanical chronograph. But hey, you know what? This one is pretty much mechanical chronograph too. It's got a flyback chronograph just like the last watch. I think this movement has like 400 plus moving parts to it. So basically, it's a mechanical chronograph with an alarm and all kinds of other features, and it's a flyback chronograph, so it's really cool. It's powered by the sun though, so it's kind of all the benefits of a chronograph with a mechanical chronograph and under drawbacks. So really cool watch. Tachymeter bezel. Yeah, this one's titanium. It's super light. This is what the case back on this one looks like. And then the module on this is E210. And I think MSRP on this one in particular with the titanium was probably around 700. I think you can get these on eBay used for around 3 to 400 maybe. But the sapphire crystal versions of this watch are more desirable, and this one is not a sapphire crystal, which is weird because it's made out of titanium, but whatever. Last but not least, we have a woman's Citizen watch. This is a watch that has some, these might be diamonds. It's got some diamond bezels and diamond lugs to it. These are faceted. It's a very nice watch. This might be sapphire, I can't remember. This is a nice little woman's watch. Mother of pearl dial. Pretty simple. Quite nice. I don't know what else is there to say about it. It's got a very small case size. Probably 28 to 30 millimeter. The case back on this one looks like that. Does have sapphire crystal. Very nice. And then the module on this is E031. So yeah, there you go. A collection of Citizen watches. What are your favorites? Citizens known for their dive watches, I would argue. When people think of Citizen, they really do think, they're aqualungs. Aqualung watches like this one, and then watches with sensors in them. They're kind of like G-Shocks, except they're not digital; they're analog. A lot of people, they think about this kind of dive watch. A lot of people don't think about the more dressier watches, unfortunately. Like you don't really think about a watch like this when you think about Citizen. But yeah, these dive watches are really where it's at, and this is prime Citizen in my opinion. So the Ecozilla is probably, so these two in particular, probably two of the most iconic Citizen watches that I own. They are very cool, very large, very heavy, and very water resistant, and very much real dive watches that you can take with you diving. This one does 300 meters water resistance, which is kind of crazy. Whereas this one actually has a depth meter to it. So, I love these two watches, but I really do like the two signature series watches as well. These are really amazing watches, actually. I think they're worth the money. They're very well made and very beautiful. I don't want to sell them, but I'm probably going to, unfortunately. But I love these watches so much. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was entertaining to somebody. I'm going to end up getting all these online probably in the next couple weeks. So I guess keep an eye out on eBay if you want. But yeah. Thank you very much, and have a good day.